Wakey, wakey.
Welcome back to I'll Make a Stay Out of You, the podcast where I, Phil, get to introduce Stray Kids content to my friend Tom. Tom, how's it going?
Pretty good.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. We were just talking about how I have this new audio interface, and I've been talking about it with people in general, but for you, I will play this. That's right. That's the sound of a soundboard. I have a soundboard now, Tom. Our podcast will never be the same.
I listened to a little bit of your bonus episode with Jeanette.
Oh, the bonus episode with Jeanette. Yeah, so you've heard a bit of it.
So I heard you use a sound clip, and then you went, "Shit, not that one," or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty good. I've gotten a little bit more used to it. So you might say
It's all good now.
Oh my god. All right. How much is this thing?
Is it. It was $500.
All right, I'll get one.
$550, something like that.
I'll get one in a couple months after the move has settled down.
Oh yeah. Well, it's normally more. But I get a discount on it.
All right. Well, then I'll send you $500 and you can get me one.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, join the Patreon. Fund Tom's audio interface so we could have dueling soundboards. It'll sound like this. It's good. It's good fun. I'm having a good time with it. I was excited to be able to play with it like while we were actually recording, because sometimes we're talking about and we need a JYP whisper,
Jesus.
Sometimes.
Look, don't blow your entire load right now.
I can't help it. Okay.
All right.
It's great. Yeah. Anyway, so how are you doing, Tom? You could tell me about how, like, you're existing. We haven't done this to the two of us together in a while because
it's been a minute.
You were stuck on a ship. I went and saw Stray Kids in concert.
Yep.
We could talk about those things.
Yep.
What have you been up to?
Oh my God, where to begin? I guess we'll start where we left off, which was me going to be on the ship for a little while. Which made no sense, right?
Right, definitely didn't.
Classic Navy logic. So here was the plan. The ship was gonna get underway and go pull into port, like just take 2 days, go up to this port where there's a school that some people needed to go to for some training or whatever for this event.
Elementary school.
No, but it was for the event that they were going to do that they've been doing these past 2 weeks.
I gotcha.
So we needed to go up there, get those people to that class, and then get back out. So that class was the week that we were there. And I was like, why am I going? Why,
right.
Like, just leave me here. It makes no sense to bring me there because then we got to figure all that shit out. And they were like, oh, don't worry. We'll just fly you back, like, right before we leave. We'll fly you back. And then it'll be fine. And I'm like, yeah, but why do all that in the first place? They're like, no, it makes more sense to do it this way. I'm like, okay. So I get there. And as expected, I don't do a fucking thing the entire week. I would just sometimes I would go to my rack and I would sleep all day. And then I would start to hear people like shuffling about, getting into civilian clothes. And I'd be like, oh, we can leave. They'd be like, yeah. And then I would get into civilian clothes and I would go to like a restaurant or something or a bar. And or sometimes, like one time I went up to there's this one space that's like really high up. It's up on the director deck. I sent a video of me climbing up there one time, like a long time ago. So I went up there to get some cell service, and I just was feeling a little sleepy. So I took a nap, and when I woke up, I was like, oh, my phone. I should probably charge my phone before we go out. And so I went all the way down, and I was going to grab my charger, and I ran into one of the guys, and he was like, hey, we can leave. And I was like, oh, fucking awesome. Perfect timing.
Just went up, took a nap, and then left again.
Yeah.
That's great. That's perfect. Wonderful.
That was my entire
Time
week.
well spent.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And then, but I found out like Monday. So we got there, we pulled in Sunday. We left Friday, we pulled in Sunday. I find out Monday that like they needed me to like fill out some form for my transfer that I had like they didn't say before that I needed to do. So I went and did that. And then I was like, hey, so what's the deal with my plane ticket? You know, you guys are supposed to be getting a plane ticket for me. And they were like everybody in admin was like, what plane ticket? Like, where are you flying to?
Oh my God.
I was like, how do you guys not know about this? So we had to figure that shit out. And because it was submitted, quote unquote, you know, last minute, they were like, yeah, you know, don't expect it until like day of. And I was like, okay. So Friday, they're like, we're going to fly you out Friday. I'm like, okay. Friday rolls around, nothing. Right. I've been checking. I've been following up on this every fucking day to make sure that like it's getting done. Right. Mm-hmm. Friday, nothing. All day I'm waiting on this fucking plane ticket. Nothing. And so I'm just, you know, I'm chilling. I'm like, I took a nap, just waiting. And finally they're like, okay, we're done for the day. You guys can like go on Liberty, you know, go out. So I'm like, I went and got changed because I'm like, okay, clearly I'm not flying out today. Right. So I went and I got changed and we were about to like, me and the boys were about to head out to a bar, get some food, get some drinks, then come back. And like, as we're leaving, someone like flags me down and it's like, hey, admin has your itinerary. They need you to go pick it up. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I'm thinking like, okay, so they finally got it, but it's for tomorrow. No big deal.
Right. Yeah.
So I go pick it up and I noticed that the date was the same day as like it was Friday. And I was like, wait, it's today? And the admin chief, he's like, yeah, it leaves in 4 hours. And I was like, oh, that's fucking awesome.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So then I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll go pack up all my shit and then go to the airport, you know?
Wow.
So that was really exciting.
Did they pay or have someone to drive you to the airport?
Oh yeah. We took the duty van. Okay. Yeah. Usually there's like a van.
Thank God.
Yeah. And so like I got up to the quarterdeck with my bags and I was like, hey, I need to ride to the airport. It wasn't like a, hey, will someone drive me to the airport? It was like, you're going to fucking drive me to the airport right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Wow. That's crazy. So you made it to the airport, right?
Yeah, I got there, you know, naturally had TSA pre-check. So I just fucking walked right out. You know, it took me like 5 minutes once I got there.
Right.
And so I went to this restaurant. God, food is so fucking expensive in airports, but
it is. Food is expensive in general right now.
Yeah. But so I got a quesadilla and it was so fucking good. God damn, that was a good quesadilla. And then, but I was there for so long, I got a burger also.
Okay.
And that burger was incredible. It was like one of the best burgers I've ever had. It's weird.
Wow. From an airport.
From just like this random fucking, you know, no name restaurant in an airport.
Wow.
It was incredible.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a burger in an airport once. It was at a Burger King. I did not recommend.
Yeah. And we watched Hot Rod?
Hot Rod. Yeah, we watched Hot Rod. Yeah.
Anyway, so I got back. You know what I've been doing these past 2 weeks? So I had to get, because I didn't go on leave, I technically am still like, you know, working.
Right.
So they made me come check into like the it's not the base command, but it's the command on base that's like in charge of the ships. You know what I mean? So I had to check into that command, and basically if you're TAD, like you're temporarily assigned to them, but you're not part of that command, all you do is they have a muster at 7:30, like accountability, right? Roll call at 7:30. You show up to that and then you just leave. And then they do another one at 1400, 2 p.m. Right. So I'm like, this is it. Like sometimes they'll have like a working party where they're like, there's like 40, 50 people that are part of this, right? And so like sometimes they'll be like, okay, these people, you need to go to this ship and like do a working party over there, or like you need to go here, or whatever. Right. They didn't call me for shit all the first week. Friday, everyone went and did like pier sweepers. Like we went to the pier and the base CO was there, and we did like this little like cleanup crew, you know, and they took a picture. Like we did a group photo at the end. He's like, oh, good job. You know, thanks everyone, blah, 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 whatever. That was it. Great. And then this week has been kind of weird. On Monday, they were like, okay, these people are gonna be on a working party. And for one ship, they called they were like, there's a blue team, a gold team. And then I was the POIC for blue team, petty officer in charge. Like I'm the guy that's supposed to run this thing when it's my team that's going to go. And they were like, we don't know when you're going to go. Just be ready. Okay. And so they gave me this piece of paper with like everyone that's supposed to be on my team and like all their phone numbers so I get a hold of everyone and like, you know, have accountability for everyone. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go home. Let me know when we're supposed to do this thing. Didn't get a call Monday, didn't get a call Tuesday. But today when I came in, they were like, okay, we're changing things up, guys. Everyone's going to stay here from now on. So we'll do the 7:30 muster, and then everyone just go in the building where there's 4 chairs, and everyone's just going to hang out. And we're like, why? This makes no sense.
Oh, but my God.
Naturally, when you have a shitload of people in a small office doing nothing, some fucking big head gets this idea where they're like, let's invent stuff for them to do. You know?
Oh my God.
Like, let's find problems that these people can go fix. So they called, instead of waiting for the ship to call asking for the working party, they called the ship and they were like, hey, do you guys need that working party? And they were like, oh yeah, send them over. So they came up to me and they were like, hey, you gotta go to the ship and you gotta bring all these people with you. And I was like, motherfucker, this is so stupid. So dumb. So the guy that told me this, he was like, all these people have been made aware. They should already be over there. You just gotta go over there and like get accountability and make sure that they're doing everything they're supposed to do. And I was like, okay, the perks of being a first class, right? I don't actually have to do the work. I just have to make sure other people are.
That is nice.
Except it didn't work out that way because I got over there. So one of the guys from my work center, who's like, he's temporarily assigned here too. So like, you know, we were just hanging out in the office, like shooting the shit. And when they came over, he wasn't assigned to it, but he's like, fuck it, I'll go with you. I volunteer. And so, we got him on the list so that he didn't have to muster with them for the rest of the day and do all that bullshit. Right. And so we went over there together. And when we showed up, I was like, okay, you know, I went up to their quarterdeck and I was like, hey, we're here for the, you know, bullshit, whatever you guys got. And they were like, okay, cool. I was like, are these people here? And I showed him the list of names. And he's like, no, you guys are the first people to show up. I'm like, oh, fucking sweet. So I start calling all these people. Nobody's picking up, right? Of course. Yeah. Naturally. I wouldn't either. And so we get up. He's like, oh, well, you can go ahead and like head up to the bridge. And there's some guys up there that'll let you know like what it is that you guys are going to be doing. So we go up there and these two guys, like, well, this guy and this girl like start explaining like what they're trying to do. They're just trying to like needle gun this area to like get it ready to prime it and then paint it, you know, whatever. So okay, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to, try to get a hold of everyone that's supposed to be here. I turned to my buddy Andrew and I was like, well, you got one person, so like let him know what he needs to do. And he looked at me like, what? It was like the ultimate betrayal. later on in the car, we went because we went and got lunch, you know, and then we were sitting in my car, just like watching TikToks, like waiting, you know, before we had to go back. And I saw this TikTok that was like this guy. It's like when you hang out with your manager, who's also your buddy, and then he suddenly becomes your manager again. And I was like, I showed it to him. I was like, "This was you earlier, right?" He's like, "Yes, I felt so betrayed."
That's incredible. What the fuck? That's great.
But
wow.
But we ended up working together anyway. Like the two of us, because 3 of the like 10 people showed up, and they stuck with the other guys on the bridge, and then like their chief came down and like had a different task for us, and she was like, "Oh, well, 2 people could handle this," so we took that task on. Which was just like, we took this like a scraper thing, but it's like pressurized so that it, you know, vibrates, and use it to like get up this like sticky shit that's all over. It's non-skid, but it's attached with an adhesive. So like you just scrape it off, you know, so that they could redo the deck. But so that's what we did like all day. And it sucked. It was kind of bullshit, you know. I'm sunburned like everywhere. But I didn't mind it so much because when we mustered in the morning, so we have a senior chief from the ship that's like kind of like, she's the one that's like in charge of us outside of the command that we're attached to, you know. So we typically like go to her for like whatever issues and shit that we have, rather than going to the actual command. And so like I showed up today, and I was chatting with her for a little bit, and she's like, so the ship gets back Sunday, right? And the command had, because Easter, they have Friday off. So we're going to check out tomorrow. And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. What time do you want to check out tomorrow?" And she's like, "As early as fucking possible." And I was like, "Hell yeah!" So we're just gonna go to muster tomorrow morning and be like, "Hey, we're gone. See ya."
Fuck yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Wow, that's awesome. Well, good.
And then when the ship finally gets back, then I just have to like go get a couple more signatures on my checkout, and then fucking I'm done. That's it.
Move.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. I got my movers scheduled, and everything. Yeah, everything's set up. I've been ordering a bunch of new toys for the car to like make the road trip, you know, a little easier.
Fun.
Yeah. And I just recently got I was like, you know what I should definitely get. I don't know why. I just feel like it's probably a good thing to have, is a fucking dash cam. So
yeah, I mean, like everybody, like I keep seeing like dash cam footage in town where I'm just like, well, I would be screwed if something like that happened to me because I don't have one. Right. So I don't know, maybe a good idea.
Yeah. So I got a dash cam. I got the one that has like GPS. It has GPS built into it, and it has front, cabin, and rear cameras.
Wow.
And so
fancy.
Yeah, I need to take my car to the shop though, because I want to get it like hardwired in rather than just having the cable run to it, you know?
Right.
And I was like, I bought the hardwire kit also, and I was like looking at the instructions, and they're like, yeah, you just, you know, do all this shit to your fuse box, and then, you know, route it this way and you're good to go. And I was like, okay, cool. And I go to my car, and my fuse box is in the engine bay, and I don't know how to route something from the fuse box into the interior. So I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm not going to fucking do this, you know?
Is it? Because normally you have a fuse box in your under your hood, but you also usually have an interior one as well.
Yeah,
so.
No, not my car. All of the fuses
interesting.
are in the engine bay. Yeah.
Well, that sucks, because that means you'll probably have to go through the firewall. So you definitely don't want to do that. Yeah. Pay someone.
I'm gonna try swinging by. There's this shop that's like right off base. So I'm gonna go, like, once we leave tomorrow, I'm gonna go over there and be like, hey, how much would it cost for you to do this, and could you do it like today? You know.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see if they can do that. That'd be cool. If not,
that'd be cool.
It's fine. I mean, it's hooked up. I tested it out tonight. Like I went and put it, you know, set it all up tonight, and It's pretty neat.
Yeah, the next time you have someone getting mad at you on the road, we'll be able to see video of it. That'll be good.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like, take advantage of it while you're in Florida, right? Like,
yeah.
Ah, man, I can't believe, like, soon enough, like, we'll be recording and doing this in the same time zone.
In the same time zone. Yep.
Wow, that's wiggity whack.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It sure is. I, on the other hand, while you were doing all of that shit, I went and saw this. I saw this group, this pop group perform. They were called Stray Kids.
Oh,
Stray
yeah.
Kids. Yeah, they're from Korea. Little known group. They have eight members. Stray Kids. They have Christopher Bang. They have a Chain Bin. Jung. Yes, the Abandoned Children. That's the correct. Yeah, that's the correct group. It was great. It was. They were great. We got there, and as we were waiting outside, we were chilling with Rogue because people were like lined up like crazy, like for like 4 hours. People had been lined up, and we like passed out freebies and stuff, and did all this stuff, which we like texted you about later because we were like, we have anxiety about talking to random people, but if you were here, it would have really helped. But we're like sitting outside, and I was like sitting next to I was sitting on a bench, and Rogue was there, and Jeanette ran off to go use the restroom because they had some bathrooms out there before we went in, like before we joined the line. And I was just like, I just suddenly like felt bad, like I wasn't feeling well, and I told Rogue, I was like, look, I might be dying right now, but they're going to have to drag me out of there kicking and screaming. I was just, it's me. I joke about shit, right? But when we actually we went and got in line, and then we're like walking in, and Jeanette and I were like walking to our seat. I suddenly was just like, oh no, like something is wrong. Like I don't feel well at all. And it's not like nerves from, whatever. I was just like, I don't feel good. Like something is gone wrong. And what I thought it was is my throat was a little sore. But the night before, we had all gone to do karaoke, and we'd been screaming our lungs out, right? So I just thought, I just scratched up my throat a little bit singing last night.
Yeah,
no big deal. The show starts, and I was like, oh, I have like no energy to stand up, and I'm like feeling like a big headache coming on, and I was just like, oh no, like this is a big problem. And I still like stood up for the songs because they were hyping me up. They're this great abandoned kids group, and like so they were good. But like since the show is like 3 hours long, they have these intermissions where they like show little videos, and I just like leaned over to Jeanette, and I was like, I'm gonna go find the first aid station. And so like I went out, I found a security guard. I was like, and you know me, like I don't want to talk to a security guard. And I was just like, where's the first aid station? And he was just like, oh, it's over by that door. And I was like, all right. So I went over to that door and found the first aid station. They let me in, and I said, yeah, I'm just having a headache right now, and it's super loud, and he was like, oh yeah, for sure. And so he like hooked me up with a couple of ibuprofen. I took them and then went back to my seat. And so after that, like I got back. I still was like feeling a little out of my mind, but I got back before they started performing again, and so I didn't miss anything, and so I started, I started, I would like stand up for like most of the thing, but I would still like my legs were tired. I was just like a little achy, and I was like, damn, like this sucks. But like by the time, because it's a 3-hour show and I got my medicine in like early, by the time like the show like got going, I was feeling good. Like I was starting to feel okay. And I was like, okay, like it's probably fine. I'm doing all right. And so like we just enjoyed it. These men were great. It was wonderful, right? Loved it. We go back to the hotel room afterwards, and we record a little episode, which is going to go out tomorrow, as of this recording, which did not go well. But it went well. Like, I had fun talking to everyone, but I had brought a 4 gigabyte SD card, and it said on the actual thing, like, hey, I can record for 2 hours off this 4 gigs. And I was like, perfect, wonderful. Yeah. And then, like, as we're recording, I'm like looking down at it, and I see that it's like jumped down to like 1 hour. And I was like, wait, it's been like 10 minutes. So I don't know why it says 1 hour now. It said 2 hours. I thought that was plenty of time. And then it jumped down again and said 0 hours, but it was still recording. And I was like, and then suddenly it was just like, yep, you're out of space. And it just stopped recording. So we still hung out for a little bit, because what's cool about this thing, and this is going to be extra cool if we go up to Chicago and whatnot, is that even with nothing else, like, I was able to connect Bluetooth from my phone to it and then join a Discord call, and the Discord call came through the audio interface, and all of our audio from our microphones went into Discord. So, like, we could live record just with this thing and a phone.
Yeah.
And that's all we need. It was great. I loved that, right? It was cool. I wish I didn't have to have the guesswork of like, oh, I don't know how much space we need on our first attempt at actually doing it. But, you know, like, live and learn, I guess. But so
we're no stranger to technical difficulties on this show.
That's right. Not at all. So we finished. We hung out for a while after chit-chatting, after the recording stopped, for a little while longer. And it was like almost 2 a.m., I think. And I didn't even realize it was that late. Oh, and I should mention, I hadn't slept hardly at all the entire trip. Like, I had a hard time sleeping. We were like in a room that was right by the exit door. And so, like, anytime somebody would leave, it would slam and shake, and it would just startle me awake. And so, like, I was just not able to sleep almost at all, except for the very last night, which was when we went to bed at 2 a.m. Or just after 2 a.m. because that's when, like, everybody left. We said our goodbyes and stuff. After that, as soon as everybody left, like, the ibuprofen I took at the show started to wear off, and like, it hit me like a fucking truck. That I was like, oh no, like, I'm sick. It's not just a headache. Like, I'm fucking sick. I had like chills that night. I was like, this isn't good. You know, we're not at home. Like, I don't have a thermometer. Like, I don't know what I'm dealing with. Right.
Yeah.
So, next morning we were driving home, like, we had to drive home. So I drove home. I took, you know, medicine, and like, we just had some Tylenol. And we get home, and I was like, well, you know, like, we have like a day off, like a day of rest, because I took an extra day off of work. And I thought, well, you know, like, if it's a virus, I'll be fine. Like, it's no big deal. I'll just sleep when we get home. I'll sleep all day or whatever, and we'll be fine. And so I did. It was not fine. And it got worse. And then there was like a day where I actually had to take a sick day off from work. And I started to feel better, and then that night I had a fever again, and I was like, son of a bitch. So I went to the doctor the next morning, and they tested me, and they're like, you have strep throat. And I was like, fuck. So now I'm on antibiotics.
Nice.
So, and then I'm immediately like messaging, and I had taken a bunch of COVID tests. I took like 3 COVID tests, 1 at the doctor and 2 at home.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't COVID, but of course I got to tell everybody, like, yeah, so I tested positive for strep throat. So, like, you know, just everybody be on the lookout for
at least the good thing about strep is, like, you just fucking, you know, take some penicillin and you're good to go. I mean, you should do the full course, but like immediately, because I had strep throat pretty recently as well, right? Like within 12 hours, I was like, oh, I feel great. you know? Yeah, that's how it's been. It's not been too bad, and I'm happy with that. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. It's not really the way I wanted to experience Stray Kids. Was like, I'm getting sick, but we did so much. It was fun. Like, I wouldn't have changed
like our first day there of like getting there, we went to like 2 cup sleeve events, which is like you go to like a little like coffee tea place and you buy some tea and then you get like a little cardboard, sleeve that goes on your cup.
Are you explaining
that has
this
the
to
voice
me?
on it.
Because I know this.
Look, any episode can be somebody's first episode.
Sure, that's true. Yeah, fair enough.
That's actually where we met Rogue for the first time. We had just come out, so we were outside, and Rogue was there, and I think Jeanette and her like recognized each other. Like Jeanette was like Rogue, and she's like Jeanette, and it was just wild. I don't know. It was fun. We had a really good time. So I was so happy to like meet everyone, and even like we had Existential Crisis and Felix is the Gateway Drug. They're like relatively recently listening to the podcast. I say that, but they listened to the entire every episode in like 3 weeks. So they're caught up. Like I was impressed with them, and with that, I mean, like, okay, that's dedication.
My brain caught up finally, because I thought you. Yeah. I know now, and I knew then too that there was someone new named Existential Crisis. But I thought you were saying like you like went through an existential crisis while you were there, and then something else. And I was like, "What are you talking?" I don't know. Like for a moment, I was like, "I don't know what you're saying anymore."
Yeah. No. Yeah. That's their names on Discord. Right. So that's what I'm going to use.
No, that's their real name.
That's their real names.
Yeah.
They came up from Houston, and it was just so cool to like meet them and like see like and talk to like people who had like just started listening. But obviously they were like super into Stray Kids, and we all went. They came to do karaoke with us, and everyone was so good. Like amazing singers all around. Like it's shocking. In fact, and like, look, I'm not gonna call it out too much, but like, Rogue's husband was there, and he sang this song, this bluesy song, and I was like, holy shit, he like killed it. It was awesome. So
Rogue's got a fucking voice on her too, so that's not surprising. Yeah. I bet they you guys do karaoke together a lot, don't you?
Mr. Rogue.
He never does it?
He never does it. Yeah. Well, that's not surprising, I am not, it usually takes me a lot of like warm up to like be like, all right, fine, give me the mic, I'll sing. But like, when it's like our deal, like, and also like that place was a fucking nightmare. Like there didn't seem to be any sense of organization. They were like, okay, like you're checked in. We just got to wait for the people who are in your room to leave, 'cause we had like a private room, and we were like watching the clock, and it was like 5 minutes after when our reservation was supposed to start. And Jeanette just had to like go up there and be like, hey, like, is our room ready yet? Like we're just standing like right away from the desk, and there's like a crowd of people who all are leaving from like the previous like 2-hour window.
Yeah.
Trying to check out. It was, I don't know. It was crazy. That place was kind of a nightmare. They basically used YouTube to do their karaoke, and that was fine. But the iPad they gave us disconnected from the Apple TV they had set up in there like 2 times, and to the point where like a guy was just like, hey, I'm just going to tell you the passcode to get into the iPad so that if it disconnects again, you can just do it. Okay. And I was like, all right, fair enough. And then from that point forward, it did not disconnect.
Nice.
So yeah, it was good. It was fun. I don't know. We had a great time. That was because I was suffering during the concert a little bit. I'm like, karaoke is like the highlight of that trip for me.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was amazing seeing the boys perform. They like the charisma, like, I don't know. I can't really describe how amazing it was to see them do their thing live. We're just going to have to go the next time that they tour. Like we'll just all go, and maybe Ticketmaster won't, price gouge us, but that's going
to happen.
I know it is, but I'm just hoping the Swifties take care of it before they announce their next tour. Yeah, you never know. But hey, what else we did is we watched SKZ Code tonight. Did you know that?
We did do that.
We watched their like New Year's episodes. Was episodes let me pull it up here. 27 and 28. So pretty far in now. They decided they were going to speak with only Korean, no English, and they were going to speak with a lot of etiquette, which I was surprised they did as well. It could have been editing, but I was surprised they did as well as they did, only speaking Korean, because the last time didn't go so well. Felix was freaking out, so because he was the only one who was not using English on that last one, but it was pretty good. They split into teams. We had Han, Lino, Hyunjin, and Bangchan versus Seungmin, Changbin, IN, and Felix. Yeah, it's pretty fun. Yeah, what did you think of these episodes? They good?
Yeah, they were good. They were pretty funny.
It was yeah, it was interesting. A lot of these are like I don't know, I want to say more traditional games. Like what we saw
like
on that
traditional
the
Korean
Chuseok.
games.
Yeah, traditional Korean game. Like we saw on the Chuseok special and stuff like that. Like, they were interesting. Proverb games. They had to like finish the proverb. Like they'd say the first part and then they'd have to like finish the second half of the proverb. Which Felix could not do, so they tried to make it really easy on him. Those ones are hard for me to follow, right? Because you usually have to like start the sentence with the same character. That I don't know if this is the same game. Either way, it was interesting to see, but I'm just like, I don't know any Korean proverbs. So I don't know if they've done it well until it's over. You know what I mean? So it's just like, well, it's fun to see. So, but it is what it is. The next thing they did was a stamina game where they played red light, green light, and this was great, super fun. They had a bunch of the traditional Korean games or traditional Korean, I guess you'd call them games, right? Like the like mini things that they had to do. Like they had like a ball with a feather they had to kick. And once, like all while doing red light, green light, and moving across the stage, and then they had to do
like
little
a task than a game.
Yeah, but like I mean, you remember Squid Game? They had to do that little slap the thing, right?
Yeah,
you remember?
Yeah. Well, that's to go, right? You got to do that. It is a game,
right?
Yeah,
it is a game.
But during red light, green light in Squid Game, it was just move, right? No game.
Well, I mean, like to get into Squid Game, the guy would be like, "Hey, you got to play this game with me, where you slap the square into another square and try and flip it."
Yeah.
And if you pass, I'll give you a bunch of money. That was the second task that they had to do, was slap the square on the other square and make it flip over. And then the third was they had like a little dart and they had to throw it into a little cup thing. Which was, was cool. It was fun to watch. I mean, they were like very silly during it. And I feel like Han was kind of a little bit of a cheater. So Han was the person calling red light, green light. And he was, I feel like he was cheating. First off, he went way too fast. And I know that's his superpower because of his raps, but like, come on, man. You can't nobody can hear that you're getting every word and syllable in. Come on, go a little bit slower. He would use it fast, like so often that it was just like, give him a chance. Okay. Like give him a chance. But it was pretty funny. I mean, the first group, they did okay. Seungmin's group, because, even though a bunch of them got caught, they were able to like retrieve 2 members, I think, which is good. I don't know. I don't really understand the rules. It was fun to watch. That's all I know.
Yeah.
In the second group, IN had to be the caller because he was the one who got stuck behind. And that time it was like Han's group with Lino, Hyunjin, and Bangchan. Bangchan didn't move. He just like stayed in the back forever. And then I think he just got bored back there, and then he just like kicked the ball twice, and so he was like still kicking the ball when I entered around, so he just immediately got out. I was like, okay, what are you doing? Like, this man. It was pretty good, but then also I think they tried they got really close, and I think Han tried to I think it was Han tried to like cut Bang Chan away, and then they all ran, but he didn't actually release him, and so they just all lost.
Yeah.
Because they were all moving, and I was like, great, wonderful ending. Like, I don't know. They got these little tokens, which in the second episode allowed them to get their fortunes told. Those were interesting. Fortune telling to me, you know, it's kind of BS.
Yeah.
It always is. It's all like, hey, these are things that sound like you. Although it seemed like some of them were written or adjusted by the person reading them specifically to like make jokes or reflect specifically on that member. You know, so I don't know. I mean, I thought it was interesting, but the best part, and the part that has become a meme for Stay, is Han being asked to speak to introduce himself in Chinese, Japanese, and then English, where he goes, "Hi, my name's Han," when he's in English, which was great. I love that, and so that gets used a lot. Like if you're on Stay TikTok, like that sound clip goes around and it still comes back up.
TikTok. I'm not allowed on Stay TikTok.
I know you're not. Well, I mean, like, in some ways you probably could be at this point. Yeah.
Should I go follow everyone? After I commented on that one video, I forget which one. Oh, was it the Felix one?
It's the Felix one.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of that, all right.
Yeah, I was like, I hope that doesn't come up. Oh no. Do you have your evidence prepared?
It's not. Look, I could do the research and present and make a presentation about this, but I think people just need to accept the fact that I have a better introduction to Stray Kids than them, so my opinion couldn't have been wrong at the time. It's just that they're biased towards what they knew about Felix and Stray Kids prior to watching the survival show, but I did it in the right order. So when I had the opinion that Felix, wasn't very important to Stray Kids, he wasn't at the time. But everyone thinks that I'm wrong because they already knew that he was important because they were introduced to Stray Kids with like God's Menu and shit. But I was introduced to Stray Kids before Felix was famous.
Okay. All right. Here's the thing. That is a very logical explanation that I cannot argue with, because I'm like, damn, like you're actually like, listen, I'm not saying that you're right that Felix is was not important, because he was important.
Here's my challenge. And it's going to be really hard to do because people have got their biases, right?
It's not going to be hard to do necessarily, because some people who are in our Discord and listen to this show were starting with the release of Hellevator and went through it at the time. So if we can pull them in to find out what the opinion was, I think that's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, totally.
There's a lot of them.
But I wouldn't say a lot, because I was scrolling through the introductions. When I say my evidence, go scroll through the introductions, look at every single introduction and count how many people learned about Stray Kids prior to or around the same time as the survival show, and not after the fact. Most people in here, I would say, got into Stray Kids because someone else introduced it to them, and they heard a song that heavily features Felix. In fact, a lot of people in their introduction, when they answer the question, what got you into Stray Kids, Felix is the answer. So they're already biased towards Felix from the get-go. So going back and listening to my opinion of the Survival Show, when I have my opinion of Felix, before I know anything about what happens after the fact, everyone has already made up their mind that I'm wrong because they have already heard things that I haven't. Right? So here's my challenge. Go back and watch the Survival Show with the perspective that you know nothing about what comes after.
Well, nobody's going to be able to do that, but yeah.
And then, and only then, can you have an opinion about my opinion.
There's at least one new person who is currently listening through our podcast who discovered Stray Kids through our podcast and is following along with your journey. So we may have a control group for this.
Good.
In the modern day to find out, like, did you, when you watched the Survival Show and you saw that Felix was eliminated, did you go like, well, like, they'll be okay without him? Because that's the thing that I think that you were getting at, is that, like, when you said, like, what did we lose, I don't think you said that, like, Felix is untalented. I think what you meant was, without him, they will still be okay.
Right. I wasn't saying Felix is shit. I was saying I don't know what he's done. I have no basis for what he brings to Stray Kids because I've heard one fucking song from him.
Yeah, I mean, like, when you
and people are like, no, you're wrong because I've heard God's Menu and his voice is dreamy, and I'm like, okay, cool. I don't know about that until a year and a half fucking later.
Right. Well, I think here the argument, right, could be made around the time would be that as the Survival Show continued without Lino and Felix there, they didn't do as well. Like they didn't have the same, like, fire there. Like, okay, it wasn't. This
doesn't support the argument because this still happened after the fact. Right, this still happened after this opinion was formed. Anything that helps defend Felix that happened after I made my opinion of him does not count. It can't count.
What about when he got kissed by Changbin?
I mean, that was adorable.
It was. So I'm just saying that's an important part of the lore, and we got to see it on TV. Like this is important. So and yeah, he sang in Glow. Yeah, it was a dark time, but no, I get you.
Right. Hold on.
I get your argument. Because like, I see the logic. Here's
another flaw in that. Okay, so Johanna's saying, yeah, his singing in Glow. If you watch Glow after having watched or listened to God's Menu, you are interested in hearing Felix and seeing him. If you don't know if you have no predispositions about how you feel about Felix prior to listening to that song, go have that opinion and tell me what he does, and tell me if it's significant enough to warrant having this super strong bias towards him at the time. Here's a hint. It's not.
Yeah. I think we're going to find out more. I think it'll be interesting when we go back and we watch the Survival Show again.
Oh yeah.
To see
sure. My opinion may change on this, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of people here already had their minds made up because they had information that I didn't.
You're right. Correct. Yes, absolutely. And even for me, when I that's why I'm saying, like, your argument is sound. Not that I can agree with the conclusion, but I already knew I loved Felix going in, and I knew that he was eliminated and came back. So you are correct. But we haven't heard from those who were stays even when they were brand new, during the survival show. We haven't heard from them yet. They may fill us in and be like, I don't know, that episode was really hard. I already was biased for Felix and it sucked, right? So like, I don't know. It's interesting. Because I could see like at that episode, no further, that you could come to a conclusion like that, even if I wouldn't have. And it is logical, even if I wouldn't. I don't think that I would have felt the same way. So I would like to quote my comment on the video, which is that I have never been wrong. We'll see. Maybe you'll contradict yourself when we go and watch it again. I mean, we'll find out soon enough.
And when I say I've never been wrong, that is to say that when I make the claim, I'm not wrong. Now, that is not saying that I can't change my opinion later on when new information comes to light, And you already, I mean, like, that's the thing that I was like, this, like, posting that TikTok, like, so far out of context. I'm like, but he doesn't think that way now. So even he knows that was his opinion at the time. It's on record, but like, he's gotten to know Felix since then. Like, it's not the same. Just like everyone else already
I know,
had.
it's a joke. It did get views. So
it got views. Oh, yeah. And where I was going with that earlier was that after I commented on that, so on TikTok, you can set your profile so that it'll tell you who looks at your profile. And like so many people started looking at my profile. And I got a few follows from it also. And I'm like, I can't follow them back because like spoilers,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that. Although there's not really any spoilers. Oh, you know what? Like, now is the time. Okay, let's move on from all the Felix talk. We will get back to it when we rewatch the survival show. When we rewatch it. But right now, the last thing we need to do here is we actually have one more video to watch while we record, because I need your live reaction to this. It's very important that we get this. I'll post the link here again in case anybody needs it. This is a song that you've already heard.
Hold on real quick though. When you're saying that we have a control group where people are like following along, in order to do that in the purest way possible, they have to adhere to the same rules that I had, which is no secrets, no outside information from what they have, they can only know about things that they've already seen or heard from the podcast, and they can't fucking talk to anybody about their pre-bias towards any of the members. That's the only way for that control group to work correctly. And
I only know what was written in their introduction, and the introduction said that they were just looking for like K-pop related podcasts, found our podcast, started listening to it, and only followed along. So supposedly that is exactly what has happened. So I don't know.
So they're not gonna go into the secrets channel. They're not gonna read any chat.
Look, they're already past the survival show at this point. So
see, we already fucked up. We'll never know. We'll never know. No, the only way that we'll know, yeah, you're right.
If we hear from them.
No, not that. Forget them. They've already, they're already corrupted.
Okay.
Rogue is correct. The only person that can prove me wrong is me, because I have a sound argument, and you can't argue against it, because they're the only way that you can form an opposing opinion to mine and be correct is if we do that thing where we're talking about how like we're gonna pick a friend that like doesn't know what we do and hasn't listened to any K-pop or anything like that, and like sit them down and make them what we were gonna make them watch the survival show or just listen to. I just for hard mode I was just gonna pick have us both pick 5 songs and see if we can do it with just 10 songs total, and our thoughts I thought
So
we said make them watch the survival show and like see if they give a shit, you know.
we can do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
See what kind of opinions they form. The problem, Rogue, with the 97% of voters is because you don't know that they voted because they wanted Felix. They might have just voted to keep the member group
together.
right, because they had like said, oh, we're gonna stick together. And with Bongchan's like super emotional, backstage the words that he said to Felix where he was like, I'm not going to leave you behind and shit like that. Like Felix, like take any member. Doesn't matter if it was Felix.
Look for me. Yeah.
Right. It doesn't matter that was Felix. It could have been anybody. And that would have sparked an emotional response in somebody that would have voted him back just to keep him and Bongchan together.
All right. Fair enough. I'm gonna feel really good about watching this music video with you now.
All right.
They did a music video. It's a Japanese music video, so that means there's no subtitles. But it is for the song "There" off of the Sound. So they released this after we had last recorded, and we're gonna watch it now. So I'm excited to see how much you love this music video.
Okay.
You ready? Is everybody ready?
Yeah. I want to say I love how mad people are at me because they know I'm right.
Okay, let's watch this music video.
A few moments later.
All right, Tom, what'd you think of the music video for "There"?
It was like
Your Eyes Part 2.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. It wasn't as cringe, I guess. I don't know. But it's definitely just like the only reason that you would watch that is just like eye bleach, or just like a little bit of boy eye candy.
They are eye candy.
Which, it's whatever. I mean, obviously
the song is good.
It's not for me, but if you want to,
yeah, it's better than Your Eyes because I don't feel myself jumping away from the monitor.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So that was definitely nice. It was much easier they should have started with this and then eased you into Your Eyes.
Yeah, it is better than Your Eyes, but it's still a little bit like that's for the Delulus.
Right. It's self-referential too, because during like Bongchan's part, they're like in like a record store, and there's a part where he's like the music video for Your Eyes is on a TV in there, and he's like, no, don't look at this. He's like puts his hands up to like cover it. He's like, no, don't. It's not, So it's pretty great. I love it. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good. So this is my first time watching it too. So like this is like all of my reactions are fresh as well. So there's two parts that stood out to me in this music video, right? This obviously I caught the Bongchan being like, don't look at Your Eyes, don't watch that music video. But Lino made this like face, made like a silly face, and I was just like, I immediately went like, cute. All right, cute. Love that. Mm-hmm. And then Sungmin, like, because that's like his personality, right? Like a lot of times they're just like, I'm gonna stare into the camera like wistfully, and I'm used to seeing that. But like when you see them just like goofing off, like that was more like, oh, this is like Lino's personality coming through. And then also same kind of thing is Sungmin when his started and he like boops you on the nose. I was just like, all right, that's totally him. I can see him doing it. All right. Yes. Okay. Loved that. So, you're right though. It is for the Delulus. Is our Japanese stays just extra Delulu-y? Is POV music videos just the in thing? I think we talked about that when we watched Your Eyes. That was just like, is this just like what Japanese people like? And maybe, I don't know. How many views does this have? It has 1.8 million views, and it came out 3 weeks ago.
God damn.
So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty good. I guess they know their demographic. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, but that's there. I mean, that's neither here nor there, I guess.
Well, then where is it?
Oh god damn it. It's I don't fucking know. I just, I
Oh,
whatever.
I see.
Yeah. That's how I feel about that.
Yeah. Well, somebody asked earlier,
Yep.
do you have good guy on that bad boy?
I don't have good guy. I'll put it on there. I've got a voice modulator so I can make my voice all weird and like a monster. Do you want to hear that?
Okay. Hello. Oh my lord.
Yeah, you like that?
I called for Jesus just then.
So I've got a few things on the old soundboard here. I've got here. I'll play this one for you. 'Cause you haven't heard this yet.
I hadn't even thought about it, but people are pointing out in chat that I said good guy, so you have to add it in post. You have to add good guy.
God
good
damn
guy,
it, they're right.
Good guy, good
Stop
guy,
it.
good
No,
guy.
no, no,
good
no,
guy,
no.
good
I'm
guy,
not.
good
I'm
guy,
not.
good guy,
No,
good guy,
no.
good guy, good guy.
No, stop it. No, we're not doing this. I haven't had to do it for so long.
Oh, just wait. Just wait till I get this fucking thing. I'm gonna add it myself, and I'm just gonna spam that shit whenever I
No
want.
fucking way.
A few moments later.
Yeah.
That's just like, anyway. I hope someday you do get this. Although, like, I've got, now I have the obviously having the soundboard is great, but I have my old audio interface, which you could hook an XLR mic up to. So
No.
it is
I want the
possible.
soundboard too. I want the.
Okay.
The only reason I want to get it is just to have a soundboard, and
Well,
also an XLR. I need to swap out this. Not that it's a bad microphone, but
It's not a bad microphone, but like, you're a professional podcaster at this point.
Right.
We're almost at 100 episodes.
I've got to invest. I've got to invest in some better equipment.
Yeah,
This is my gaming microphone, not my podcast microphone.
that's right. Gaming has gone well for you, though. You got your AOTC, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean,
Very impressive.
We did really well. Both those VODs are up on Twitch if anyone wants to watch them. I know they don't. Like, nobody here wants to watch them, but like, I don't know. It's good.
You don't know. There might be some crossover between AOTC WoW rating and Stray Kids.
And Stray Kids.
You never know.
Yeah, and stays.
Like, yeah, that could happen. There's a lot of different kinds of
Don't
stays.
know about that, but yeah, I was really happy. That first kill a couple weeks ago was like solid, and then we went back in and we did it in 7 pulls. The second time around.
Wow,
which is really good in my opinion.
That's great. I tuned back in after you had already done it.
Naturally.
Did you go back into Mythic at that point? Is
no,
that where you?
Fuck that. No, we're never going into Mythic.
Oh, okay.
No,
I saw,
absolutely not.
After you had already beat it, I thought you went back into the raid, and I was like,
we did.
Very
we did.
confused.
We went into normal because
okay.
there are like there's just killing the boss, right? But then there are achievements that you can get like by doing something special, like you do a little something different, and if you get all of those achievements, you get like a mount. So we went back into normal to do that, to do like the fun. It's like a fun run, but like you're trying to do bosses in a different way. Like the first boss, you have to get this thing. You have to get this little ice guy, and he spawns. Like normally he's not there during the fight, but you like make him spawn, and then he's got stacks of this debuff that you need to like knock off, and you need to get all those debuffs knocked off so that he changes into a different thing, kill him, and then kill the boss. So it makes it a little bit more difficult, but like, we're AOTC, so in normal, it's just it's a joke. So it's just fun to like go in there and try to do the achievements.
All right, fair enough. Well, that's fun.
You only watch Locke's play?
Did it.
Well, I used to main Locke, but somebody's got a tank, so here I am.
It's true.
And somebody's got a raid lead, so here I am. I tried to raid lead as a Locke, and that shit is just difficult. It's so fucking hard to raid lead while being an Affliction Warlock, because an Affliction Warlock already is like so much to manage, and then you're also being like, okay, I gotta make calls. So you try to balance it, but you can only be good at one at a time, and so It's just, yeah, it's challenging. But as tank, it's pretty easy. I mean, it's still like a lot, especially on a fight like that. But I don't know. I think I do a pretty good job.
Yeah. Nah, you guys did great. Well, congratulations.
Thanks.
But that's going to be it for this episode. We will resume. Well, we're going to resume tomorrow. But you'll hear this on the next week. So if you want to follow along, you want to come to these live recordings, you want to do all the fun stuff, you go to makeastay.com and you can find all of our links there. You can find them TikToks, you can find them Patreons, them Discords, and get all up in here. Okay, do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do it.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Oh. Okay, bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
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 Bye. Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, it gets louder.